Hey, guy, how you doing tonight?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. A little trouble around the corner here tonight.
Yeah, what's going on?
Yeah, me and my rollerblade buddies are just trying to have a drink over at the other bar called Jerry's.
Yeah?
Yeah, there was a band over there called the Ricks, and they were causing all kinds of trouble and throwing things around the bar.
For heck's sake.
Yeah, a bottle went right past my forehead. Nearly knocked me out.
No way.
Oh, yeah, I had to get out of there. That's why I came over here to Larry's.
You know, there was a time when rock stars were rock
Larry's.
stars. But now we just have a bunch of Ricks.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Oh, I will. Let's go. It was 1981, and Motley Crue, America's heavy metal band, was made of these four players. Nikki Sixx, Tommy Lee, Mick Mars, and Vince Neil. You know the songs they're known for. Kickstart My Heart, Dr. Feelgood, and Girls, Girls, Girls. So it's December 11th, 1981, and all kinds of holiday cheer is in the air. Why? It's Nikki Sixx's 21st birthday. So they're on tour in Reddington, Michigan, and it's time to get to the Holiday Inn for some rest and relaxation. Yeah, right. 1 drink, 2 drink, 3 drink floor. That's how this party got started. And it wasn't just people's bodies hitting the floor. It was basically everything inside the Holiday Inn. It started with a piece of food, and then another, and then another, and then another.
Let me guess. And then another?
Nope, they were out of food by then. It was time to start picking up the plates and the glasses. Basically, anything in the room was game, and it was all in the air. Furniture, couches, chairs, beds, shattered, destroyed, rubbish. And then there's always that one guy at the party who's got to escalate everything. And that guy at this party found the foam spraying fire extinguisher. Sprayed everything in sight until the thing ran out. You can't vacuum that stuff up. So they totally trashed their hotel room and other parts of the building. Well, they racked up a bill that would equate to about $30,000 in today's industry, so they had a good little birthday party that night. Well, it depends on who you ask, too, because the owners of the Holiday Inn didn't think it was so great. They thought it was so ungreat that they wanted to uninvite Motley Crue to the Holiday Inn for life. So since 1981, it's been over 15,330 days since Motley Crue has had the chance to stay the night at a Holiday Inn.
Guess they're not leaving the light on for them.
Nope. Hey, you ever work at a restaurant?
Yeah, kitchen.
So then, of course, you love Led Zeppelin.
I listened to every album 8 hours a day for 4 years straight.
Then I'm guessing you know every word, but you probably don't know every story.
Let's go.
All right, so you already know they're a British rock band formed in 1968 and that they consisted of these 4 players. Robert Plant.
Oh, I know. Jimmy Page.
That's right, John Paul Jones.
And John Bonham.
It's true. You did work in a kitchen. They had songs like...
Let me take this one. Whole Lot of Love.
Yeah.
Cashmere.
Yeah.
Stairway to Heaven.
You got it. Now, obviously, you know they're one of the largest rock bands ever to land on planet Earth. And that their 4th album is one of the best-selling albums in all of rock history. So to be one of rock and roll's most epic bands, they're going to have some of the most epic times. Check this out. It's such a big story that it has a name. It's called The Shark Episode, and it all went down in 1969. Check it. Story involves a bed, a groupie, and a mud shark.
So what are they doing in the bed with the groupie and the mud shark?
I'm going to leave that up to your imagination because you're probably right.
Oh, man. So where'd they get this mud shark?
That's one of the unique points of this story. They're staying at the Edgewater Hotel in Seattle, Washington. And the room literally has a window right over the Puget Sound for where you could just throw a fishing lure right in the water. So that's what they did. Caught him a mud shark. So now the party rolls on with the bed, the groupie, the mud shark, and things get a little weird with an 8mm camera.
No way. There's video of this?
Somewhere out there in the archives of some true rock and roll legends. So the hotel management, of course, is not okay with this. And at this point, they're like, you know what? Led Zeppelin's never invited back to the Edgewater Hotel. Yeah, that didn't change their mind much. They love the place. So on the next tour stop back around Seattle, Washington, they were like, you know what? We should book into the Edgewater Hotel, but under a different name this time. All the band members changed their names.
What? No way. How are they not going to know? You're Led Zeppelin.
You're 100% right. Cue in James Bloom. He's the on-premise manager of the hotel that night. And basically, as Led Zeppelin is checking in, he's looking at the entire band and the manager and going, really? So the band checks into their rooms. James Bloom decides to give a phone call to Led Zeppelin's road manager at the time, Richard Cole. He says, we know who you are and we know you're here. Let's just have a good night's sleep, huh? Richard Cole and Led Zeppelin obliged. They had a great night's sleep. So upon checking out the next morning, everything seemed to be fine until it was discovered that all the hotel TVs were missing. But not for long. They were soon all found, floating in the body of water known as the Puget Sound. James Bloom was like, are you kidding me? You're each getting charged $500 for each TV. Richard Cole understood, and being the good road manager that he was, settled the bill not only with the hotel, but took care of the TVs as well. And at the time, he did it all in cash. So like the young desk clerk who's running this entire transaction for the hotel is totally blown away. He's like, it's Led Zeppelin, it's over $5,000 in cash. He's starstruck and awed all at the same time. So he asked a little question. He said, hey, sir, what's it like to throw a TV out the window? Richard replied with this. He handed over $500 more in cash. He said, you know what, kid? There's some things in life you got to experience yourself. Go toss a TV out the window. Courtesy of Led Zeppelin.
Man, what it's like to be a rock star.
That's what it's like. Got another one about Keith Moon.
Keith who?
No, that's The Who.
Mean Keith who?
No, Keith Moon of The Who.
Who?
No, they're called The Who.
Who's called The Who?
The Who. The band is called The Who.
Who's Keith who then?
No, his name is Keith Moon. He plays in The Who.
Who?
Oh, you're done. So here it is. Keith Moon, the drummer of the iconic British rock band The Who. He was known for his amazing and crazy wild drumming style. You know, making songs like Bob O'Reilly, My Generation, Pinball Wizard. Keith Moon's drumming style was as distinctive as his offstage antics, which involved a good mixture of destruction and mayhem. At this time in his life, he literally got coined rock and roll's greatest hellraiser. So on August 23rd, 1967, Keith Moon celebrated what he claimed to be his 21st birthday.
Something sounds really familiar about this.
And they celebrated it at a Holiday Inn.
No way. I bet you're going to tell me it happened in Michigan, too.
Flint, Michigan, while opening for the Herman's Hermits on tour. So as 21st birthdays go, Keith Moon began drinking heavily upon his arrival in Flint that night. He's wasted, but it didn't stop him taking the stage with The Who at Atwood Stadium that night. Well, he's a professional. He held his stuff together for the show. However, that was only show number 1 that night. The band leaves the stage and heads back to their hotel. You know, the Holiday Inn.
Oh, these poor guys.
So for Keith Moon's second act of the evening, it was going to be an act of destruction.
Let me guess. He started a food fight.
It's like you've heard this story before. Yep, if you consider cake to be food, then that's exactly what happened. Grabbed himself a 5-layer wedding cake and shkabam! Smashed it up and started throwing it around. Next thing smashed up and thrown around, Keith Moon's face. Did it to himself. Knocked out part of his front tooth that night, requiring a visit to the hospital. So while he's at the hospital having an emergency tooth removal, his blood alcohol content is so high, the doctors couldn't administer the anesthesia because it would have been illegal and noted as malpractice. Keith Moon got his tooth pulled by the numbness of life. But while Keith Moon is playing Terry Tooth Fairy down at the hospital, the Holiday Inn is still going off. Dude, we're talking fire extinguishers being set off.
Oh, no way. I've never heard that one. What is this, How to Rockstar Party 101?
Bro, remember The Who was before Motley Crue.
Oh, right.
So it's going off. People, pianos, private property, personal property, all thrown into the pool. And speaking of peas, that's when the cops showed up and pulled their pistols. Said, guys, you're done. Being done meant somebody had to pay the tab and they all had to leave. Total damage report tabbed up to be about $24,000. But remember, that was 1967. Today, that would equal over $100,000. Coincidentally, Keith Moon and The Who were banned worldwide from all Holiday Inns for life.
So, like, what does Motley Crue and The Who do on tour now? Do they say, hey, man, can we just, like, stay at your mom's house?
I'm sure they have other options. You know, we've been talking about a lot of bands that have trashed hotels, but this next particular band and band member took it a little further into the personal world. Ozzy Osbourne, the Prince of Darkness, and the lead vocalist of the heavy metal band Black Sabbath. While Osbourne has a distinct place in rock music history, he's known for his wild behavior both on and off the stage, often making headlines, cementing his position as a true rock and roll icon. So it's February 19th.
Hey, that's when my ex-girlfriend and I broke up.
1982?
No.
Right. Anyway, I'll keep telling the stories.
Right.
February 19th, 1982, Ozzy Osbourne is in a total state of drunkenness. Found himself in San Antonio, Texas, wearing his girlfriend's dress, which happens also to be his manager.
Okay, I have a lot of questions here.
Hang on, little turtle muffin. I'll clear it up for you. So he had taken his girlfriend's dress at the time because she had hidden his clothes to keep him from going out in a drunken state. Didn't really work. That's why he's in the dress. So now while Ozzy's all dressed up with no place to go, he figured he'd find a place to hang out. He went to the Alamo. So while Ozzy Osbourne thinks he's being funny, he decides to urinate on the Alamo cenotaph.
What's the cenotaph?
The cenotaph is a 60-foot high statue erected to honor the Texans who died at the Alamo during the state's War of Independence. So basically, if you're peeing on it, you're kind of peeing on what the Texans stand for, and this is not cool. That was strike one. He got arrested. Public urination and intoxication. Got let go on bond for $40. So now he's still on a roll, and he's got a concert that night. That night at the Hemisphere Arena in San Antonio, Texas, it was a sold-out show, and that place was packed. So packed that the people got a little crazy, and they started throwing rocks, and they started a riot. There were these two beautiful windows that graced the front entrance of the Hemisphere Arena, and the rocks and the rioting people decided to smash them that night. Led to the arrest of 24 people. Strike 2. Now on to the show. Ozzy's drunk, takes the stage, starts getting a little lippy, tells the entire crowd in the state of Texas that he's always wanted to pee on the Alamo. And while he was in his swing for his third strike, he finishes it off with a sentence of, "And I've always wanted to pee on the White House." Whiff. Strike 3, Ozzy, you're out of there. In response to these events, the San Antonio City Council decided to ban Ozzy Osbourne from performing in the city ever again. Well, as some of us know, over the years, Ozzy Osbourne tried to wean some of his old rock and roll ways and make amends with the people that he had done wrong. So after coming to terms with what is right and what is wrong, Ozzy Osbourne, 10 years later, decides to make a $10,000 donation to the Daughters of the Republic of Texas, who are responsible for maintaining and managing the Alamo. Since that day with the donation and the apology, Ozzy Osbourne has been pardoned.